So I've got this team, bowling team, and we needed a name, so I came up with HolyRollers, right? Why not, for a guy that says he's God? And so that was kind of fun. It started off, the gist of this team is that it started off fun, but it's ending up real ugly, and I'm not even sure it's going to be able to make it to the, well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stay with them till the end here in this season, and it's, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to bowl next year because of a leg injury I sustained. But I got a problem with basically the teammates. It's not a good situation. So so I'll go into what happened, and it's a little bit lengthy, but one second. My basic problem with one person on the team stems to the rest of the team, basically because the rest of the team are his friends. But I have a problem with this guy named John Liu. He's an Asian-looking dude, but he's a very two-faced, backstabbing, just pure management material at 3M. If they are looking for managers over at 3M, this is the guy. This is how they breed him. This is how he's a scum sucker, and everything comes out of his mouth is usually some kind of negative or some kind of way of backstabbing people. And he tends to have friends, a lot of friends, because he stirs up a lot of trouble, and he makes sure that he's got friends to back him up. And it is this type, this John Liu character type of people that I'm trying to stop from happening, rid the world of, if you will, not literally but figuratively, such that this is what managers do. What he's doing, what he does is the stuff that managers are made of. And I'm going to describe these things. One second. At the start of the season, there's this guy named Paul, and maybe I'll show some other clips. Video. I was videotaping our bowling and stuff at the beginning of the season. We're having fun, and I'm videotaping them. And almost the first day, it was like the team all the teammates, but especially John, was saying, we got to get rid of this guy. We got to get rid of Paul because he sucks. Paul is a little bit out there, and he's kind of geeky looking, maybe, so it doesn't fit John's profile and the rest of the team. Really, there's Jeff and Brandon as well. These guys are, I guess you would say, kind of the jockish material, and Paul just doesn't fit their profile of people to hang out with. So we, almost from the beginning, it's kind of like we need to get somebody else. Paul also doesn't bowl that well. He started off with a 150 average, and he got down to like 125. So he just seemed like it was getting worse instead of better. And one sec. So the heat is on. The heat is getting a little bit more like. We're looking forward to the second half of the season where we don't have Paul and we can do better as a team. So there's a lack of sportsmanship just in general, but with Paul especially, and I can tell there's a little bit of like, I'm not quite in their league of jocksmanship as well, but I'm bowling a 190 average or something, so they can tolerate me. So what's happening is that I understand where they're coming from with Paul, because his average is getting lower. Sometimes he doesn't even break 100 in some games. And so I'll show you another clip. I'll show you this other clip of a problem that occurred in the previous weeks, in a week or two before this other clip. I'll show you. One second. I told Paul that some of the team members are not happy with his performance, and I understand where the three teammates were coming from. I felt that Paul could maybe practice a little bit more, but Paul refused to practice, He did practice with me once, but that's because I paid. And then, aside from that, he doesn't want to practice because he doesn't have any money. And then, or else he doesn't have the time. And yet, he seems to be complaining. He wants to make sure that he's on the team. He wants to make sure that he's on. He wants to stir up enough trouble that he's on the team, and yet doesn't want to practice to make it better. And which are, there's some guys in the league that are willing to sit down with him and help him get his game fixed, or help him, not just get it better. Anyways, so I can understand the three teammates wanting him off. I can also understand that Paul is just there for fun, because I am too. We're just there to have some fun. And I told Paul that there's some disagreements with some of the guys, and so the next week he goes up to John and says, "Hey, you got a problem with me? Am I bowling?" And John says, No. And then what happened right after that is his girlfriend comes up to me and says, Paul comes up to me and says, "Hey, I overheard you saying you want me off the team." So I'm not sure if John said something that it's like not only did John say, "No, I didn't say, I don't have a problem with you." He may have said, or Chris does. So, because next thing I know, I am being chewed out, and there's a major scene at the bowling alley because I want Paul gone. So here I am, the bad guy. So this is the level. This is what the three teammates do. They have this level of pussy in their genes, and especially John Liu, in which they talk behind people's backs and they backstab. But when somebody directly confronts them, they deny everything. They pretend they're a good guy, and they make Chris out to be the bad guy. And Chris is just trying to make better the situation. So you're going to see this other clip that occurred as a result of that. And one second. Last time we bowled, after the bowling, Paul's girlfriend got in my face and started giving me crap about Paul getting kicked off the team, and I'm not sure where this exactly came from. As far as it almost sounded like this was his last week, and there was a dire need here to make sure that this doesn't get kicked off. Now I don't know who's talking to him. I did mention a week previously that the three of us, Brandon, Jeff, and Jonathan, were a little bit disappointed in his scores, but as long as he did his average or better, that it would be okay. This last time it wasn't so good. And anyway, so Paul somehow overheard me saying something that I was dissing him, or somehow to the fact that he's off the team. Well, Paul's evidently making this up, and this is what happens: is people making up stuff. Because I am on Paul's side. I feel this is fun, but with all the rumors out there, I've yet to find anybody who's telling me that I have a big penis. I get all these kind of things that I'm being allegedly told that I'm telling, and yet nobody's informing me that I have got a big wanker. So I'm a little bit mystified on this rumor that I had said something. But one second. So I guess Paul had asked John if he had a problem with Paul, and John said no. So it appears that John developed a vagina, because he is the guy that's pretty much trying to make changes happen here. So I don't know if he said something back that gave Paul the impression that I'm trying to get him off, but this is how it works. This is how the rumors get started. And I turn out to be the bad guy in this, and I'm on Paul's side the whole time. I guess up until recently, because this little scene that occurred with Paul's girlfriend, Paul went and told management and found out that he cannot be kicked off, and that's fine. I guess I don't appreciate the scene that had to occur, as though somehow I'm the bad guy in this, and I'm just trying to be sort of the mediator to understand that Paul needs to get better, he needs to improve, because I also understand these other three guys that they want to win, and I understand both viewpoints, and I want Paul to get better as well. A 120 average is not a very good average in this league. One second. I think Paul should have been the Navy military guy wearing the badass shirts, and confronted me in person instead of, going complaining to his mommy. That's the management there at the Burnsville Bowl, and then getting his girlfriend to confront me and rip me a new one when I'm just a simple mediator. So I didn't have a problem. I'm a little bit perturbed at Paul's behavior being a military guy. This is how he's been taught in the military. I like vets, but that wasn't very cool. I didn't appreciate the scene that his girlfriend did to me, and even guys overheard this and said, you didn't deserve this. So, so here's the deal. Paul cannot be. He's on the team, but Paul, if we're looking forward to next season, maybe. If you want to be on next year's team, you need to get better. Okay. At this point, we're not going to have you on. But Paul, here's the thing. You've got this guy. I can't remember his name, but at the Burnsville Bowl, and he wants to help you out. He wants to help you out and get you better. I tried my best, and you're not listening to me. So, what I need you to do is get together with this guy and get better. Do what he says and get better. Get a curve. We need a right-handed curve, and for 2 weeks off here, we've had 2 weeks off here during this Christmas break, and you have not contacted him. And Paul seems to have enough energy, enough time to be able to make bowling and create scenes that somehow I'm the problem child here. And yet Paul doesn't want to have the team effort in which to get better, to learn some new skills, to get better in life. So Paul, you need to get together with this guy and get a curve, and you need to do it immediately, okay? Because it's for the team. This is for the team effort here. This isn't about you as an individual. This is about a team effort. This is a team game. And when the Timberwolves, or a guy in the team sucks, they put him on the bench, okay? So if we need to get a sub in here to help sub in here, maybe we'll do that. But I just want to see Paul. I just want to see improve. Even if you get a scores of 120 with a curveball, at least you're improving, because it'll just get better. I guarantee you, a curveball is going to get you better. So but I want to see you get. I want to hear next time I see this guy. I saw him last night, and he said you did not contact him yet to improve his bowling. So I need you to learn how to take a ball and learn how to do this with the ball and get a curve, and get together with this guy and actually show some team effort, that you actually care for the team instead of just caring for yourself. As a result of that video, that was over the Christmas break. As a result of that, the first week back, the three guys, Brandon, John, and Jeff, they didn't show up. It was just me and Paul there. And Jeff gave me a call, or we talked with Jeff, and it turns out that he's afraid that Paul's going to go ballistic when he sees that, so they don't want to be around. They evidently, the pussy level they contain is so vast that they don't want to show up to bowling to be a man. They will stay home and wait till Paul is off the team, then they will come back. So it's kind of it's so childish, the behavior I was seeing from 24-year-olds. That, first of all, we're there to have fun. They're concerned about competitiveness, the competitiveness of Paul, and yet, at the same time, if they look at their own stats, they're not doing so well themselves. But But here I am in the middle of this, and I'm trying to just, and the bowling alley is in the middle of this too. They just want a team to put together so that stay together so that they can get income for the league. They don't want anybody to drop out, and it was a big mess. But what ended up resulting is that Paul would go to another team, and the rest of the team, they came back the following week. Now, I was thinking they weren't going to show up the following week. We had this guy named Tom as the secretary, and he was keeping the coordination with Jeff. And it was just funny that they were scared of Paul. That Paul might go ape crap. Another word for crap. Over the fact that we're kicking him off the team, and I can understand Paul being upset. I can understand that. It's just that Paul doesn't seem to have any ambition to get better. Doesn't seem to care. He just cares that he's on a team. And so the best thing that happened, and that is he got another team, and now he's doing better. His average is getting better. So it appears that it was better for him. But I was hoping that the team didn't show up the following week so I could just sub. Because I was pretty upset. I was pretty disappointed in the child's behavior that my team is exhibiting. And especially John, who was turned off, diverted blame toward me, and I'm the one getting blamed for unhappiness with his performance. Mind you, the other guys never talked to Paul about his bowling problems. It was me directly, and they never directly. They were always talking behind his back about his performance. So the three guys showed up, and we got a fourth and sub, and eventually we've had 2 or 3 subs in there. One second. In the meanwhile, I'm wearing these, throughout the year, I'm wearing these God shirts of mine, these shirts that I've made up. Getting little feedback from these guys, so I just know the level of backstabbing that's going on concerning the freak. What's the freak is on the loose, but there's little comments about this until I stopped wearing them for a few weeks, and then they're like, "So I see you want to be normal now." I mean, there's just, I guess there's been a problem, but now that I'm normal, there was just a comment that I'm normal now. Oh, so I see you're normal now. That's about the only thing I've heard, and yet I just can imagine the level of talking behind my back concerning the three. And I'm not so much picking on Brandon, so it's I don't know what's going on with Brandon, but it's John Liu that's the scum sucker in all this. So I'm going to jump back to the past a little bit here. When the first snow fell, there's a sign that says no street shoes down on the floor, because you get wetness down there and somebody steps in it and they approach the line and they trip and fall on their face. Well, this is exactly what happened to me. This is early, first snow, so we're looking in October, November, probably November. I fell on my face, and it's not a fun experience. It's the reason why that sign exists saying no street shoes down there. So what happened over the next few weeks is I noticed that John was wearing his shoes down there on the way out, and he was tracking wetness up the steps. I said, "Hey, you got some wetness. You're not supposed to wear shoes. There's some wetness here." And he's like, "Whatever." And I was like, he didn't even wipe it up. I went over and got a towel and wiped it up for him. So it was then a week later or so that down on the floor is Brandon. I think Brandon or Jeff tracked in their shoes, and everybody's complaining now about the wetness, and I believe that everybody else cleaned it up and not them. of some sort, and there was a denial there. Everybody's, the Brandon's whatever denying. I'm not saying there's ill intent involved in crippling people with their shoes, with their wet shoes. But if you're going to bring your shoes down because you're afraid that they're going to get taken or something, wipe them off or carry them down. Do not walk down there. Carry them down there and set them well aside so that there's no way that that's going to get in anybody's shoes, bowling shoes, so that they don't trip at the line. So over this time, after I tripped at that line back in October, I tried to play tennis, and I no longer could. I was getting a tweak in my knee. Went to play basketball in Smallville, tweaking my knee. So I realized I was wondering what was going on, so I went to the chiropractor. That wasn't fixing it. It was the injury. It was sustained the injury when I fell at the line. When I did that, I got up, and it didn't seem like that bad. But there's a lot of, when you are tripped or you plant your left foot, and stepping to the line, you're expecting to slide, not it gets stuck, and everything just jams up and you fall on your face. See, there's a level of physics involved in this, and expectation when you approach that line. So I've been injured. I didn't quite realize the extent of it. I went to the doctor, and said basically I got to take it easy. And I couldn't even dance. I couldn't even dance side to side motion. This is getting ridiculous, and I can't even dance anymore because of my knee. Anyway, so I got a brace now, and that seems to be helping. So maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'll be able to bowl next year. But one second. Again, with the tracking in of shoes, it is not like there's any malintent involved with Brandon and Jeff that one day when they're like, "Oh, we did it by accident because we're idiots." That's basically what it is. We're an idiot, and that says, I disregard that sign that says don't bring anything down there because I have no clue what I'm doing in life. So I understand accidents occur. That was an accident. They didn't mean anything. But when I caught John with his shoes tracking up wetness, and he didn't give a crap about picking it up or wiping it up, I had to wipe it up for him. That's where it starts to really irk me. And then John is bringing in Burger King food every week, practically every week, because he doesn't care about the sign at the beginning of the entrance of the building that says no food allowed in here, no outside food. So one more thing is adding to the dilemma here. One sec. So to add to the misery, I am dating this lady named Diane. She's imaginary, but they think that she's real when she's behind me. And they go, "Hey, is that your girlfriend?" I go, "Yeah, she's a girl. She's my friend. Yeah, she's my girlfriend." And that's okay. But then John opens up his yap and says, "So are you going out with her?" I said, "Yeah." And that's okay. It's when he says, "Oh, get some of that, get some of that." And there is, by the way, when John opens up his yap, to me, there is little positive reinforcement in my life. He would like me dead, if all possible. And there is little that he can say to my face that could be a benefit to me. That he needs to understand. He's very PR. He's a kiss-asser and a knob sucker, and this is how he's going to be a good manager and get well ahead at West. He works at West Thompson Publishing, a law firm, of course. That he's very PR about what he's doing, but he doesn't know when to just shut up. And so my friend Diane is a little bit I don't know, it's a little, one second. Basically, instead of John saying that, what he should have said is, hey, cool, does she have a friend that she can set me up with? You got to be careful in the situation. I don't want to talk too much about Diane because it might be a little offensive to her. So, even though she's a manager, so it's just that it's a real sensitive issue. We have an age discrepancy, me and Diane, and it doesn't look quite so. Anyways, it doesn't look maybe quite so right. So you just have to be careful how you project yourself, John. That the PR dude in you, who is so accustomed to properly speaking, it doesn't know when to shut up. So in that process, I did tell John if he's not happy with the picture, just set me with one of his friends, But he never did that. He has little concern for my well-being, and this is why he should say nothing. It's like pleading the fifth, but he keeps talking, and that's his problem. So a couple weeks ago, this is the 23rd of March, 2009. Well, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I realized that my knee problem is as a result of falling on my face from bowling, from somebody leaving wetness on their shoes. Now, I can't say specifically that it was their water, my teammates' water, or John's water that did it. It is the lack of care and concern that caused the I don't give a crap attitude, that caused my injury. So now I've got a problem. I've got a issue which I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to bowl next year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to play tennis in the summer, the spring, summer, bowl, basketball. So I'm getting in John's face a little bit, and I mentioned is I don't give. I'm talking about is I don't give a crap attitude, like him bringing in outside food and wetness on the floor, and John's like, well, I haven't done that lately. I say, no, well, lately doesn't matter. It's what you did a while back when you didn't give a. I mean, you seem to don't give a crap, and thus injuries occur, and then immediately Jeff's like, what's going on? What's going on? So kind of broke it up. It wasn't that bad. It was the following week that was the problem. John walks in with Burger King food again. I just got done telling him not to do that. And it's like he's saying, F you, roller. Look what I can do. So I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? This I don't give a crap attitude is injuring people. I mean, and I could really care less about the food in the place. I could care less. It is about lack of attention. It's about the I don't give a crap attitude that causes wetness to be on the floor from his shoes, that causes injuries to people. And you know what he says? He says, well, nobody told me not to bring in any food. I said, but that's what the sign out there is for. And I just got done rubbing his face the week before. So what he's doing is that he's got 4 of his buddies on the team, 3 other buddies on the team, ready to back him up. What John is, he's level 10 pussy, and what he's doing is making sure that he's got other people backing him up. So what happens is that I'm ripping him a new one, trying to get to the point that my leg is injured, and that I don't give a crap attitude is what's injuring my leg. And Jeff interferes, and he looks pretty steamed, like he's going to get interfered. And it looked like he was making it physical unless I settle it down. So this is exactly what's happened here, is that John has got, by the way, I'm the only one on the team, and they got 4 guys that are all buddies, and they're all butt buddies or something, okay? And so, but this is what John does. He stirs it up with his loser behavior. And like egging it on, bringing in his Burger King food just to see what I would do. Just knowing that Jeff is going to back him up because Jeff has said, hey, I got your back. Because Jeff is a big boy. It is strange, though, that Jeff is acting so tough. And yet when Paul, and yet he was acting such pussies about what Paul might do for being moved to another team. I think Jeff he acts really confident when he's in numbers. I mean, it's basically 4 against 1. My whole team, I'm the outcast on my team. So this is not working. This is not. So now my problem is still with John, but it's now I have a problem with Jeff. He wants to make John's business his own. So Jeff Tibbetts is his name, and you know it's. Oh, my only thing lethal about me, the only thing bad that I might do, I'm not going to be physical, it is simply my mouth is going to go off. And if they can't handle that, and they need to get hyped up in some kind of, because I'm chewing out John for being a loser that he is, well, I mean, what's there to do if you can't communicate in life? And Jeff was saying, hey, he's on our team, he's our teammate, don't give our teammate crap. And yet they were doing that with Paul. And yet they were doing it behind his back. It was like, all of a sudden, when they find it amusing, when they find it of importance, then teamsmanship is important. Don't pick on your teammate. He's our teammate. That's what Paul was. And then he goes, so Jeff's constantly telling me to shut up instead of let me talk. But the reason I wasn't concerned about the food is I was making a point. He has an I don't give a crap attitude about everything. And that I don't give a crap attitude has injured my knee. And that maybe, not directly their water, but that attitude has left water on the floor that's injured my knee. Indirectly or directly via their water. That attitude is what I'm concerned about. And Jeff was saying, hey man, it's in the past, it's in the past. And I said, I'm like, but murdering somebody is also the past, and you're just going to forget that too. And of course, all my arguments are just goes in one ear out the other. They have absolutely no coherence of intelligence. That their debate is correct and mine is not. That I have no reason to bitch about my maimed knee and John's lack of attitude, lack of care. The I don't give a crap attitude. Also, we had arranged, we had said about the lineup in the bowling is that the highest average will be on the bottom. We'll just keep it at that. So, but last week, all the guys teamed up and said, hey, keep the lineup the same way it is. Don't change it up. So I'm 4th now out of 5. And that wasn't a big deal. I thought nothing of it at the time. But I realized that this is their means of saying, hey, Chris, Roller, you're not really in control of anything. And I think what the whole idea is that the whole last Wednesday was that I think what they were saying is John, we're close and we want to back each other up. Whoever stays back, one of us wants to back the other up. And help us make ourselves up.